Trump's Mar-a-Lago motel posed rare security challenges. Experts say Washington. The seizure of labeled U.S. authorities' files from Donald Trump's sprawling Mar-a-Lago retreat spotlights the continuing country-wide security issues presented through the previous president, and the house he dubbed the Winter White House, some safety experts say. Trump is beneath federal research for viable violations of the Espionage Act, which makes it unlawful to undercover agent for any other U.S. or mishandle U.S. protection records, along with sharing it with human beings not legal to acquire it, a search warrant shows. As president, Trump occasionally shared information, regardless of its sensitivity. Early in his presidency, he spontaneously gave notably categorized data to Russia's overseas minister about a planned Islamic State operation even as he was within the Oval Office, U.S. officials mentioned at the time. But it was at Mar-a-Lago, in which well-heeled contributors and guests attended weddings and fundraising dinners and spent time on a breezy ocean patio, that U.S. intelligence regarded specifically at risk. The Secret Service mentioned while Trump became president that it does not determine who's granted get admission to the membership, but does do physical screenings to make sure no one brings in prohibited gadgets, and in addition screening for visitors in proximity to the president and different protectees. The Justice Department's search warrant increases worries approximately national protection, mentioned former DOJ professional Mary McCord. Clearly they thought it became very serious to get those substances lower back into secured area, McCord said. Even simply retention of surprisingly classified papers in fallacious garage specifically given Mar-a-Lago, the overseas traffic there and others who would possibly have connections with overseas governments and foreign dealers creates a widespread countrywide safety danger. Trump, in a statement on his social media platform, mentioned the data had been all declassified and positioned in stable storage. McCord mentioned, however, she noticed no achievable argument that he had made a conscious decision about each this kind of to declassify them before he left. After leaving office, she mentioned, he did not have the energy to declassify information. Monday's seizure by using FBI dealers of a couple of units of papers and dozens of containers, which include facts about U.S. defense and a reference to the French president, poses a frightening scenario for intelligence professionals. It's a nightmarish environment for a careful coping with a pretty labeled facts, mentioned a former U.S. intelligence officer. It's only a nightmare. The DOJ hasn't furnished unique records approximately how or where the files and pics were saved, however the membership's popular vulnerabilities had been well documented. In a high-profile instance, Trump huddled in 2017 with Japan's then Prime Minister Shinzo Abe at an outdoor dinner table while guests hovered nearby, listening and taking snapshots that they later published on Twitter NYSE, TWTR. The dinner was disrupted via a North Korean missile take a look at, and visitors listened as Trump and Abe figured out what to mention in response. After issuing an announcement, Trump dropped by means of a wedding party at the membership. What we noticed became Trump be so lax in protection that he was having a sensitive assembly regarding a capacity war subject matter where NANU's government personnel should study and photograph, stated Mark Zaid, an attorney who specializes in national security instances. It could have been clean for someone to also have had a device that heard and recorded what Trump turned into announcing as properly. The White House press secretary on the time of the Abe visit, Sean Spicer, told newshounds later on that Trump had been briefed about the North Korean release in a secure room at Mar-a-Lago. He performed down the scene on the patio. At that time, apparently there was a picture taken, which everybody jumped to nefarious conclusions about what might also or might not be discussed. There turned into surely a dialogue approximately press logistics, where to host the event, he said. It become in the secure room at Mar-a-Lago where Trump decided to release airstrikes against Syria for the usage of chemical guns in April 2017. The choice made, Trump repaired to dinner with visiting Chinese President Xi Jinping.